Shalom Israel. First, foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai B'Shem Dash, to one of the apostles, Nels Great Millstone for teaching us his true peace and blessing to the hope of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Nephilim Hebrew. Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson, and as the title, spiritual power will be needed. And I'm gonna have to make this lesson once again. I recorded I believe a little over 30-minute lesson. And I go to stop recording, and the button is not red. It's just all of a sudden stop recording, and none of it saved. So now I'm at to redo the lesson, and the Lord's will be edifying. Lord's will spirits telling me to bring this out. Get a couple scripts after I place a quick video going to this robot running at immense speed, and also just showcasing why that power is going to be needed, and why the Lord is literally going to need to step in. A divine intervention will be needed, because look at everything this devil has, the things he's getting ready to come down with, and you already know who his main target is: Jake, Israel, specifically the prophets, the men of the Lord, the elect. Because we're the ones prophesying the downfall of his kingdom, teaching this 100% truth. Because us waking up and us come back to who we truly are, come back to our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is a threat to their kingdom. And come to the last days, the devil's going to say F and just crack down, man, and put out all stops. So what you're about to see right here is just an example, a little taste of what they got. They're not going to show you their trump card, the best of the best that they got. But you best believe coming to the last days, especially in times of Jacob's trouble, they're going to be going all in. Because you get the scriptures, they know the time is running out, man. So I'm playing this real quick. I don't make the lesson too long. Like I said, I just made literally a 30-minute lesson, just for not to be saved. But you're gonna pretty much hit the key points. I pretty much went into. Lord's will lesson still be edifying to the point. So play this quick, get a couple of scriptures, and that'll be that. Look at this. In that title in the background is pretty much on point. It says, how would you defend yourself if an army of these robots were chasing you? And guess what? If you're without the Lord, without Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, without the hedge, guess what? You can't do nothing. But going back to that point is the title of this lesson. Spiritual power will be needed. Look at this. As we continue to see within the video, how I picked up the tops. Or picked up speed. Look how fast it's running. How are you gonna run away from this, man? And clearly this robot was meant, to be chasing something. You get the scriptures how they be especially coming for us, man. And like about that point, there's a reason why that power is going to be needed, and why the Lord is going to lift that stand against our enemy. Now let's read the caption that says, Meet Raptor, a high-speed bipedal robot inspired by velociraptors. This innovative bot features under-articulated legs and a tail for pitch control. It can sprint at an impressive 46 kilometers on a treadmill, is powered off-board, and maintain stability over obstacles with its tail assist design. So this thing was created to chase down something. That's something obviously being people. Once you best believe they're coming for us. Who's the main threat to their kingdom? The prophets, the elect. But Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is going to defend and protect his elect, which we will pray that we're a part of the Lord's will. The tables will be flipped, and you devils will stand no chance. But now there's a couple of these scriptures, and it's gonna get to the points I want. This is Revelation 12:12, and it says, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is coming unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he hath but a short time. So the devils know his time is running out, his time is ticking. That's why you especially see him getting sloppy. That's why he's getting caught for the things that he has done and things he's doing now. But very soon, more than to say F it, he's going to show his true colors. He's going to crack down and come down with that great wrath, that hammer, man. And we're seeing Jeremiah 37 also goes into these, coming times, how chaotic it's going to be. The time of Jacob's trouble. Right now, this devil's giving me a little taste of what he's got in store. He'll also showcase certain events, showcasing, certain advancements. Blessing them with a little sprinkle, a little taste of what they got. And also the way of telling you the things that they got is by putting it in shows, movies, TV shows. That's the way of telling you. Because you can also see in the show Invincible, and that one particular scene where they shot a dude, an Omni-Man, which Omni-Man is pretty much a somewhat evil Superman. But, in that show, they shot him with a dude, which is a direct energy weapon. And on that satellite, it had 144. So this is going to show these devils no. There's a reason why they're making Iron Man-like suits of armor, exoskeletons where they're able to lift immense amount of weight, creating all sorts of robots that are equipped with weaponry, flamethrowers, and those things are able to be sold to the public. So imagine what they got behind the scenes. Those things are not showing you. Obviously not going to show you the trump card, the best they got right now. But come these last days, especially in times of Jacob's trouble, you best believe they're going to be pulling all stops and going all out, man. Because what's in that Revelation, as we're reading right here, in Revelations 12 and 12, they're going to come down with that great wrath because they know what they had for a pretty short time. So this is just effort, man. This is Psalm 64 and 2. And just as I brought that point earlier, without that hedge, without the protection of Yahweh Bashim Shah, you are through. I mean, look what we just played with in that video. As we just read was in the caption, that thing was meant for chasing. It has a tail where it's able to keep balance on rocky terrain. I mean, come on. But going back to the title of his lesson, spiritual power will be needed, and we can see why. What's in look at the things this devil has. Now imagine what he's got in the dark, behind the closed doors. This is Psalm 64 and 2. Now it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And these devils have, plans, saved in binders. Things they're planning to do against Jake. And these devils will soon begin to make their moves. Why? It goes right here, hiding from the secret counsel of the wicked. I mean, the words also played within that video. Just a little taste, a little example of what they were getting ready to come down with, man. Lord, and be our habitation, our sanctuary, our safe haven, man. Our protection, our defense. Matter of fact, you get a scripture that goes into how the Lord's name is it's like the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run to and is safe. Paraphrase. So also going to show the importance of knowing the name Yahweh and his son's name Yahweh Shai. This is Psalm 17:13. Further answer that point. This is arise the Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. And who's that wicked speed of Esau, which you get in Malachi 1 and 4. Esau literally named, labeled the border of wickedness. So showing you that it's speaking of. Excuse me, as you can also see in Genesis 27, 39 to 40, going to his blessing, which is the fatness of the earth, as well as that sword. As arise, Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And guess what? The Lord is going to be swinging that sword, especially upon our people, the 2/3. The Lord's going to be using Esau to dish out a lot of his judgment, man. Especially upon you, Jakes. Because once you're not going to be on the receiving of these judgments the Lord's getting ready to bring out. Now, do want to make sure it's on. You see in the bottom left right here, it shows the record button. And as soon as I went to go, stop recording, it just wasn't there. But let's stand on my point. That was Isaiah 59:19 to pretty much go into the point of the lesson that standard being lifted. As the soul shall fill the name of the Lord from the west and the glory from the rising sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. So they're going to come down as a flood. They're going to the great wrath they're getting ready to come down with, man. As you know, a flood is overwhelming. And you see within these shows, and I'm thinking of this movie Project Power on Netflix, starring Jamie Foxx. In one particular scene near the end of the movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already, but near the end he's pretty much surrounded by a bunch of troops, military troops, surrounding him with guns pointing at him, lasers all over his chest. But it's right here says, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. And he turned up on those troops, man, and they stood no chance. So the Lord is quite literally going to level the playing field. But in this case right here, you will stand no chance. The tables will literally be flipped. And especially once that switch is flipped, the devils are through. Because they're speaking too fast, lucky. They're going to be coming for the men of the Lord, the prophets, the elect. And it was a point I was wanting to get. I lost my train of thought. Dang. I lost it. The Lord will come back to me. But it says, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. So you're going to have this devil, be coming for us. Is what's and why. That power is going to be a divine intervention. Will be needed. The Lord's going to step in. Because once you look at all the things the devil has, things he's ready to do, as we didn't get this definition, which I wanted to get earlier. But the divine intervention refers to the belief that a deity or supernatural force actively intervenes in human affairs, often to influence the course of events or provide assistance. And a assistance will be and will need to be provided. With all this crap the devil's getting ready to come down with, the things he's getting ready to pull, that power is going to be needed, man. Got that. Let's get a couple more. And there was a point I was going to make earlier, and I lost my point. But Lord's will still times points because it's my ability to be edified. But this is Psalm 91 to go into the faith and how Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be our defense, man. That sanctuary. But it says, he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say the Lord is my refuge, my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. This is who we're going to put our faith and our trust in. Yahweh Shema Shai, man, the one true living God. Our power, man, the Lord. What's in Yahweh Shema Shai? Because how do you think the Lord's going to defend and protect his elect in the midst of these coming times? When all hell's breaking loose. Obviously through these miracles and the great things the Lord's getting ready to do, but as well as through that power. How else do you think Isaiah 4:1 is going to unfold and take place? We're going to have 7 women shall take hold of one man. How do you think that man's going to be able to defend those that are going to be with him, his house, in the midst of these chaotic times? When all hell's breaking loose. Obviously these miracles and what's the great things the Lord can do, but he's also going to defend and protect his men via that spiritual power, man. Because it will be needed. The Lord's will with that hopeful elect. Because once in that video we played with there was just one example of the things the devil's got, things he's got in store. But now it says, surely he shall deliver you from the north, from the snare of the fowler, and from the northern pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. And when you're under someone's wing, you're under their watch, you're under their protection. And his truth shall be thy shield and buckler, as you can also get in Isaiah 33:6. Thy wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. This is also why you're going to have many people gravitating towards these, especially dealing with these women, man. Because you especially see with these apocalyptic type of movies, where they always make the person holding the end time sign, or the end is close, make it seem like he's bugged out. As they're mocking and scoffing us now, prophesying down for the kingdom, calling us crazy, all sorts of things. But when things pop off, that's the one person they think of. Oh, that person was right. As you can also get Ezekiel 33 and 33, there no other prophet has been among them. But within these types of movies, they always gravitate towards the person that knows what's up, that knows what's going on. It's, why these things are happening. This is why you're especially going to have many people be turned away. Because you have the truth being taught, the warnings being sounded, the alarm being sounded, but they didn't take heed. But now when things hit the fan, when chaos erupts, now you want to get right. Now you want to repent to be far too late for that. So, specifically, dealing with these women, only the sincere is going to be, taken. Going back to speaking of Isaiah 4:1, dealing with those 7 women shall take hold of one man. Because you're also going to have a lot of these wicked women trying to be all, buddy, all super close, with, a member of the elect. But the elect, when they especially get that power, they know your thoughts, your true feelings, and, what you're really trying to do. It's like kind of veering off topic, flowing through the spirit, that point came to mind. But it says, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the air that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth in noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at the right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So it's going to show how well kept, how well defended the elect are going to be, man. And once the Lord's performing these great miracles, you're also going to have the angels. They're coming to our defense. You're manifesting themselves. And those are also going to defend and protect his men through that spiritual power, man. And there's a reason why it's going to be needed. As we read Revelation 12:12, Isaiah 4:19, they're coming out with that great wrath, and they're coming out as a flood. But it says, verse 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because I was made the Lord, which is my refuge, even Most High thy habitation. So, if we're without the hedge, without the protection of Yahweh Ba'Shem Al Shah, you are just plainly put through. Going back to the video once again, you saw what that robot was able to do. Clearly made to chase things. And you saw it had a tail to be able to maneuver around rocky terrain. Why do you think they're making these things for, man? And we were speaking of the wicked here, Esau, Edom. The devil the Bible speaks of. So obviously it's not going to benefit humanity whatsoever. This won't do anyone any good. It says, because I was made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. So you're also going to have the angels keeping watch, protecting us, defending us. Isaiah 54:17, further going more into these points. And I believe there's other points I was wanting to make, but like I said, I made this 30-minute lesson. May have forgotten a few things, but Lord's will is still edifying. But no weapon that's formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness of me, said Yahweh Ba'Shem Al Shah. But going back to the top of the verse, which is the main point, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. So nothing the devil has will work against the men of the Lord. Dealing with these laser weapons, these Iron Man-like suits of armor, these exoskeleton suits, these super soldiers. People are going to call it crazy. People are going to mock and scoff. They don't got that type of stuff. They ain't got no super soldier. That's sci-fi. Which they show you within these movies, these cartoons, the TV shows of things that they got. Truth in plain sight. Now, this is a way of telling you things that they got. And also made a lesson a while back. Going to this article, which was, I believe, 9 or 10 years old. And went in that article a couple years ago, going into these devils, spending $500 million, training soldiers deep underground. And that was years back. So imagine the things that they got now. And why do you think they're training soldiers deep underground? You can get in Jeremiah 16:16 how those fishers, which are the prophets, will be soon turned to those hunters, man. And you also have that saying, because right now Esau, is this, so-called hunter. I'm not speaking of Jeremiah 16:16, but just speaking of another point. Where you have this saying how the hunter becomes the hunted. So Esau will soon become the hunted, man. As brought up that point, Jeremiah 16:16, which I'll get later on, those fishes will be turned to those hunters, man, and this devil will be through. He will stand no chance. There's no weapon that's formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee, judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the rest of me said, Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai. So nothing the devil has will work, will prosper. It's all going to fail. It's Luke 10:19, and I do want to get Jeremiah 16:16 after this and close out with that. But it says, Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So it goes to show how well defended, how well kept the elect are going to be. And you also cannot be first, if not second, as we're going to tell, the elect are going to have abundance. So also, what's it going to show? Nothing the devil has will work against the Lord's elect, man. These robots, these laser weapons, these weapons, it's all going to fail. Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai is against you. This is Jeremiah 16:16, going back to that point I was bringing up. And it says, Behold, I'll send from many fishers, say the Lord. Now who are those fishers? The prophets, the men of the Lord. And it said, and they shall fish them, and naturally I'll send from many hunters, and very soon those fishers, which are the prophets, the men of the Lord, return into those hunters, man. And they shall hunt them from a mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks, because you also have these devils trying to escape their judgment, trying to flee away. But not in the Lord's watch. And Yahweh Ba'ashem has covered all routes of escape. Especially when you like to receive that spiritual power, and you're cooked. And, as Jake loves to say, doing that new Jake sling. You're quite literally cooked, man. You're through. As I brought up that point earlier, dealing with the hunter becoming hunted. You also have that other saying, how there's a new sheriff in town. Where a new hunter is gonna, make the scene. But it says the hunter becomes a hunter signifies a situation where someone who is pursuing or attacking another suddenly finds himself being pursued or attacked instead, and the tables will be turned. The hunter becomes the hunted. Because those fishers will soon be turned to those hunters, man. That power will be bestowed upon the Lord's elect. The Lord's will, will of that number, man. Because I'm trying to put my hands on this devil, man. Because right now you can think of, the basic powers, super speed, super strength. The elect are going to be able to do much more than that, man. Quite literally be able to manipulate the elements. Things that you're not able to even perceive right now, you'll be able to do. The Lord's will over that number. Because we're going to talk one more time. The hunter becomes the hunted signifies a situation where someone who is pursuing or attacking another suddenly finds himself being pursued or attacked, and instead a reversal of roles where the aggressor becomes the victim. So his devil is quite literally through. And that's the point right there. Just wanted to hear a lesson going into that video regarding that robot, dealing with the immense speed it was running at, and why that spiritual power will be needed, man. A divine intervention will be needed. The Lord's gonna step in, and we can see why, man. I mean, look at everything this devil has, the things he's getting ready to come down, but things he's not even shown you yet, man. So if they're able to show these things to the public, as well as sell certain types of these robots to the public, because you also have robot dogs, you're having flamethrowers equipped on it being sold to the public. Imagine things they got behind the scenes they're not showing you, But you see examples within movies, cartoons, TV shows, things that they got, and that's the way of telling you. So you imagine things they got behind the scenes, man. So that spiritual power most definitely, will be needed, man. And the Lord's gonna lift that standard against our enemy. And what's in the tables will soon be turned. But that's the point. Those who are tied together, best of my ability. That'd be other points I was wanting to make, but those was satisfying. To close out and give all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shema Shai, Shem Kakadash, and Shalom. See you next one, Lord will.